Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at woke college kids get wrecked by Christian in a pro-choice debate. This just showed up on my suggested For You page on YouTube. I thought it'd be an interesting one to react to. I haven't seen it yet, but I just want to give a live reaction, kind of give some commentary on this and just see how it goes. So let's hop into it.
Is that other religions have other values.
Yeah, and who's to say that those are right?
No one's right. No one's saying that. You're saying that yours is right, and we're saying.
So prove me.
Well, an accurate exegete of the Bible will tell us who is right if you're a Christian. And so what you would have to do is use classical apologetics to at least give a good case for Christianity being true and then use the Bible. So
Wrong then. Prove that Islam's correct.
No. The burden of proof is on you because you are claiming that yours is
go
the
for
best.
it. I do
whoever makes the positive claim has the burden of proof.
apologetics. What question? You want to talk about Islam? Which one? Let's go.
It isn't about a specific.
They bring up things, and then when I fire it back, it's like it's not a religion.
Because you.
Here we go.
So you keep bringing up like slavery or like other examples of immoral things.
Yeah.
Why? What is your? Because you are claiming, you are making the statement. What is your grounds of saying that a bunch of cells have the same value as an actual?
Okay, real quick, that's a euphemism. A bunch of cells is not an accurate representation of what a fetus is. Again, I think it's 99% of biologists agree that life begins at fertilization because it creates a completely different DNA sequence, different genetic structure than the mother. It is not the mother if it has a different DNA sequence and it's a different entity, and like completely different entity. So again, clump of cells is a euphemism. We need to define our terms.
Human being.
Great question. Because the Bible says, Jeremiah 1:5.
I don't care about Bible. That's your religion, your business.
So
see, and that's why I use the other example of secular professionals that talk about this. Again, 99% of biologists agree that life begins at fertilization. You'd have to make a good claim as to why the moral worth of a human in early development has less of a right to life, or even less of a right to life than the mother has right to autonomy.
I don't care about
So
that.
do you see though?
Morally,
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you atheist? Where's your belief coming from? Agnostic, atheist, it's got to come from somewhere.
Agnosticism is not a system of belief. It's just.
So where are your beliefs coming?
Okay, this is an interesting one that I'm not sure exactly where I stand on this, but again, agnosticism is still making a claim. I mean, regardless of if you believe in God or not, you are either making the claim that God exists or God does not exist. So I don't like the whole claim that atheists make that it's a lack of belief. Well, you're also making the negative claim that God does not exist if you're an atheist. If you're an agnostic, it's a little bit easier to defend because you're saying like, well, I don't really know. But again, there are systems of belief that follow from that. There's no objective morality unless you attribute morality to neurodevelopment or evolutionary development over time like Sam Harris does, which his view of the moral landscape was destroyed.
Coming from secularism? Where? They come from somewhere.
Okay, I guess yes.
So I'm not gonna, you can hold that belief, but you can't tell me that my belief of the Bible's wrong.
I can say that your beliefs are your business and you cannot enforce it on other people because that's easy.
That's just moral relativism. That's never worked. It's not true.
Your belief.
Are you not forcing your belief on me right now?
No, I'm not forcing you to
not.
get abortions.
Yeah, but you're telling me what I'm saying and thinking is wrong. I don't want to hear the Bible. You
Right.
are forcing your belief. You see that? That's,
yeah.
And she can walk on by. I'm not forcing on anybody. You guys have the free will to walk on by.
It's not.
Welcome to Canada. God bless. We have freedom of religion and expression. You guys act like we're in China. I can say whatever I want to say. If you guys don't agree, walk on by. There's no gun to your head.
Actually, it was your claim that I'm forcing my opinions on you by having a discussion.
It's more hypocritical for someone that believes in moral relativism to try and tell you to believe something than someone that believes in an absolute morality structure. Because again, if you believe that God imbues us with morality and it's objective, it's outside of ourselves, God determines it, well then of course that is justifiable to tell other people what to do. But if you're a moral relativist and it's determined by culture or by environment, then you actually have no grounds to tell other people what to do because it's culturally relevant.
Whereas you were the person who started the discussion. So if anyone's forcing anything, it's you by starting this conversation.
Yeah.
She's
Well, the only reason
standing
I brought that up is because you said, I don't want to hear what the Bible, you know.
Yeah, because I don't.
Well, that's fine.
It's not a valuable argument because it's your belief and it's made up by a dude lived thousands of years ago. Like, that's none of my business.
Yeah, we can touch on that. That's a different topic. So what's the answer to the question? So I'll give you secular and biblical. I'll give you biblical and then secular because you don't want to talk about Bible. But as a Christian, like, this is important, right? So the Bible says, Jeremiah 1:5. No. But let me answer it, and I'll talk to.
But
Just,
it's not.
lady,
It's not
just give me. Of course, it's relevant.
Why would you assume my gender?
Oh, goodness. Welcome to 2024, guys. What a world we live in. So the Bible says, Jeremiah 1:5, that God knew you while he formed you in the womb. So that's where it comes through biblically. Scientifically, if you Google right now, when does life begin scientifically, it will say fertilization. Life is what I'm valuing. I don't care the stage of development, whether it's a fetus, a grandma, a child. Okay. There's my answer.
Morally, we are...
Where are your morals coming from as an agnostic? Where are you getting morally?
I value not causing harm and not bringing
What about harm to the fetus?
pain into the world.
So you think all harm is bad?
If they outweigh something, yes, you might cause harm to one thing and then...
So harm is objectively wrong. So
It says a collective, yes. Cumulatively, if one harm is done, it's not taking away any harm on the other side, yes, it's bad.
So what? Okay, well, I'll give you an example, right? If I'm defending myself and I have to harm this individual because he's threatening my life.
That's literally what I just said.
So is that good or bad?
Cumulatively, the harm that was going to happen if you wouldn't have caused the other harm, it would have been more. Like, you would have been dead or something. That was the situation, right? You are just...
We won't go down this path. It's okay.
Yes, I think...
Because there's no room for agnosticism. You have no moral ground to stand on. Everything is, well, moral this and maybe this and that. It's like Plato.
Your moral ground is that
it's
let's
objective.
listen to a God that made up rules thousands of years ago.
Okay, she's just misunderstanding what God is, apparently, because God in the Western tradition is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. And if God determines something to be good or moral, then it by definition has to be, because God is the maximally great being. I think that is Aquinas's concept. I think it's the ontological concept of God. By definition, he is the maximally great being. And so morality is a reflection of his nature. So he doesn't just make up morals. The morals that we see in the Bible and that God commands us to perform are a reflection of his nature, his perfect nature.
Which has a lot of misogyny and homophobia. So your values and morals are much more questionable. And the fact that
Again, on what grounds? Like,
they are concrete.
It is the fact that it's concrete is the problem, because you don't use your brain. You don't have any critical thinking, and you just accept what is the concrete.
Let's bring it back to secularism then, right?
Okay.
What would you say about Googling life begins scientifically at fertilization?
It doesn't matter.
How does that not matter? I just give you a secular perspective.
The fact that life begins, first of all, like, what do you define life? Life is what matters. Then I guess you shouldn't use a sanitizer because you're killing bacteria.
A bacteria's not a baby, though.
So
yeah, human life by definition is morally more valuable than any other form of life. Again, a single cell organism isn't as valuable as a human. Humans are more valuable than dogs. Oh no, believe it or not, we're moral agents. Again, we have higher moral status.
So you're talking about, like...
It has to be part of the whole. It can't just be like a fingernail.
So do you think IVF is murder?
What's IVF? Intravenous. I'm not familiar with IVF.
IVF is using, like, external ways. Basically, they make the fertilizations out in the lab.
Okay.
And then it's inputted into the woman.
Interesting. Well, if it is sperm and it's impregnating the woman, then that would be life, yeah, at fertilization.
Okay.
So what's the argument then? You're kind of just like laughing around and stuff. I told you scientifically life begins at fertilization. You have no rebuttal to that. You're just kind of laughing around saying the Bible's a fake, sky daddy, yada yada. But like, what's your answer? What is life?
Because you are putting value into cells that, if those cells were outside of a woman's body, it would not survive. It's basically a parasite until the 7th month.
Yeah. So,
it cannot survive.
So calling it a parasite, again, is a euphemism. This is actually a really bad argument. Calling it a fetus, which is like the biggest miracle in the entire human species, the fact that we can reproduce and create life through natural processes, calling that a parasite, again, is part of that postmodern Marxist anti-God entire movement that's been getting into our public facilities and communities like the public education system, and that kind of proves how poorly our young people are being educated now.
Number
So
one,
it's not technically
a
life.
parasite cannot be the same species, so that's already wrong. And then number two,
Parasite is.
Google
is
it,
something
Google it,
that-
go for it.
Did you just say a parasite isn't a species? Like,
No, I said
what
it
is
cannot be
your-
the same
Species
species.
and the host, yeah.
Like a parasite is not another human. And then number two, because these are good questions, right? I want to answer them. You're saying like a fetus can't sustain itself, right, outside the womb. Neither can a 1 week old. It's the exact same thing. A 1 week old depends on the mother. It needs breast milk. It needs care. Like if I were just to have a 1 week old and leave it here on the road, the 1 week old would die.
Okay,
If someone
let's.
picked it up within an hour
Yeah.
and started giving it like
Yeah, so if you neglect the baby that's developing in the womb, it will also die in the same way you neglect an infant on the side of the road, it will die.
like
food
milk,
and,
food and
yeah.
stuff.
But your argument
Okay,
was,
no.
I just because I was
think you're not
attacking that argument.
understanding.
Yeah.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. So
elaborate, yeah.
basically, like example of bacteria is life, right? Do we agree on that? It's life.
It's living, yes, but it's not human life.
It's life.
But it's not human life. I'm
It's
after
not
human life. I don't care about
It's
animal life.
Okay,
You
you're
value
saying
human
life.
life
Human
above
life.
all other life on the planet.
Yes.
You
Yes.
think that you yourself are more important than
Than, like, pigs and
every
stuff, yeah.
tree, everything.
Yes. That shouldn't be hard to understand. Why do you think we have moral structures built into our psyche? Why do you think we have the ability to make free will decisions and our cognitive structures allow us to determine that based on other people? We have a theory of mind. Trees don't understand that there's other trees that exist.
Wow,
Absolutely, yeah.
that's really
The
upsetting.
Bible tells we
I'm
have-
so sorry.
That's fine. You can think trees are better than us. That's fine. But like, you don't truly believe that though, because when we cut down trees, you don't have signs that say that you're killing. That's a murder tree. Should I be charged for? Okay, let's just hold up. Should I be charged for murder for like cutting down a tree? You don't actually believe
Hey,
that. The
but-
Bible says we have dominion over
Can I say one
the
thing?
creature. Yeah, go for it.
Your whole point is that the Bible
Do a
is
360
your
part.
moral
Yes.
standing ground.
Yeah.
And that because you follow the Bible,
Yeah.
your moral standing ground is higher than anyone who is atheist or has morals from other points of view.
Yeah.
And you brought up slavery, saying that morals change, and that's why people who don't follow the Bible, their morals can't be trusted.
Right.
Then how do you feel about the fact that they justified slavery with the Bible?
There was something called the Slave Bible, which was a bastardization of the actual Bible. They changed verses. They only allowed the slaves to read certain sections of the Bible that they misinterpreted. They exegeted improperly in order to trick people into believing that slavery was moral. And again, the whole idea that there's so many things there that are wrong. So she's acting like he believes in moral relativism by saying that society changes over time. Again, societal expectations and general moral structures can change over time. It doesn't mean that the truth value of those morals change over time. They can just align themselves closer or farther from the actual truth or the truth value of the moral claims. And again, the whole thing about the slave Bible, that's a perfect example of hypocrites and wolves in sheep's clothing misusing the true word in order to attain ends to their means.
Yeah, so they had slave Bibles. They would tamper the real Bible, tear out pages. A lot of people do that today.
So how do you know then that this isn't a part of the Bible that isn't the real Bible?
We have original manuscripts. Check out Wes Huff on my previous video. Wes Huff's a biblical scholar. We have original manuscripts from the 1st, 2nd century that have the original manuscripts of the New Testament, so we know those haven't been changed. The Dead Sea Scrolls are one of the biggest archaeological discoveries in the past 100 years that show that the Old Testament has been almost completely preserved. It was like over 99%, and the small percentage that was changed were like antecedent words like and, it, but. And so the entire Bible has been preserved extremely well, extraordinarily well.
Like, did you go back in
Well, 'cause
time and talk to Jesus?
Well, because we have the original manuscripts, right? Greek manuscripts. That's what we read now.
You do.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the fact, though, that multiple people who have their PhD in religious studies and study the Bible say that current written Bibles, like at Catholic churches everywhere, are translated wrong? Have you gone back and read the original?
The majority of biblical scholars, agnostic, atheist, and Christian, all agree that, or at least most of them agree, it's like the large majority, they agree that the Bible has been preserved very well.
Greek
Yeah.
Bible yourself? You have?
Codexes, yes. Sinaiticus, Vinalix, Vaticanus, Alexandrius, and Ephraim. They're museums now, 2nd century onwards, yes.
Do you have a degree in religious studies?
No, but I can just study it.
So you can read ancient Greek.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's why we have Google. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to understand Greek. I can see, okay, you know, the word for sodomite, which is homosexual, means arsenokotite, which means male bed. So a lot of like LGBTQ people will say it means sleeping with children. That's a lie. Right? So you can Google it right now.
But you can't actually read ancient Greek. You don't actually study it. You don't have the same levels of credentials as people.
Again, this is that whole leftist, postmodern, Marxist, anti-God, bureaucratic kind of focus here. It's like, oh, you don't have a degree in the topic, so you can't talk about it. Again, that's a fallacy. It's the appeal to authority. I mean, just because someone is an authority on a topic doesn't mean they're right, and just because you're not an authority doesn't mean you're not right.
People who spend upwards of 10, 15 years getting an education and studying the Bible.
And then they would agree with me.
I don't think they will, because I've read
What would they
papers
disagree with?
written by these people.
What argument are you making?
I think
The
we are giving the
argument that
wrong
I'm
thing because
making is that your whole moral standing ground saying that you are right because you follow the Bible is wrong. The Bible is one religion. Other religions, like Judaism, believes that it is morally wrong if a woman doesn't get an abortion if she's going to be made ill from the pregnancy. So what makes your religion better than everyone else?
Well, so first off, I'm not Jewish, and then number two, you'd have to show me where in the Torah it says that. It might say that. I know Judaism is a little bit different than Christianity, but yeah, I'm not Jewish. I believe in Jesus Christ.
The point is not the Judaism. The point is that
Well,
other
it is.
religions have
other
different
values.
Yeah. And who's to say that those are right?
No one's right. No one's saying that. You're saying that.
Right. She's saying no one's right. Someone has to be right. There's a thing called mutually exclusive claims. Like Hinduism makes mutually exclusive claims from Christianity. They could both be wrong. They can't both be right at the same time. So we know that at least some of them are wrong. Okay, so what is our methodology of determining what's wrong?
Yours is right, and we're saying.
So prove me wrong then. Prove that Islam's correct.
No. The burden of proof is on you because you are claiming that yours is the
Go
best.
for it. I do apologetics. What question? You want to talk about Islam? Which one?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It isn't about a specific
They bring up
religion.
things, and then when I fire it back, it's like it's not a religion.
Because you don't understand the point.
Getting
The point
cooked.
is that you are taking your religion, which to me, I'm sorry, is a funny little book.
That's fine.
And you are applying that to people's bodies. You're making laws that are leading to women dying in the United States because
Fetuses are not your body. We've already talked about this. I mean, he just said that a minute ago. You can't just keep going back from the same point if you're proven wrong, or you have to at least have a good counterpoint. You can't just repeat the same thing if someone already disputed what you said.
because of routine pregnancy complications. You might have just said Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, episode 1, when he cuts the baby out of her body, he's in the right for that. You might as well just have said that because you are making abortion illegal and you are making it so that women are dying from routine pregnancy complications.
Yeah, there isn't any law anywhere in the U.S., like state to state, that doesn't allow women to get abortions if their life is actually at risk. So again, I think she's grasping at straws.
On top of that, people should have the option to make their own choice regardless.
What do you want me to address? Which argument?
Okay, let's go back.
The mortality rate of pregnancy, we can talk about that. It's about 0.0002%. It still happens. You're more likely to get to die into a car accident. It's about.
That doesn't matter though. You're saying that that we shouldn't wear seatbelts.
No, that's not what I said.
But that's what you're saying. You're saying it's way less than a car accident.
Well, it is.
So then we should take away the cautious methods that make it so that those things don't happen.
I think just because there's a
Again, wearing a seatbelt and protecting you from dying doesn't put another life at risk.
0.0002% chance that a woman can die through pregnancy, I don't believe we should murder the child. No.
So
if you don't want to take that risk.
You just said right now, real words, you think a woman's life is worth it just for the chance of a baby's being born.
Well, if she doesn't want to have a child, then don't have sex. Be celibate. And if you bring up the rape thing.
That's not even what we were talking about. You said that you think that if a woman has a routine pregnancy complication that could lead to her death, you think that that risk is worth it and that she should just continue.
Again, yeah, I think he's right about the numbers being extremely low, so that's a very rare case. If that is the case, that a mother will die and the child could be born, generally speaking, people would err on the side of the mother living. And yeah, I mean, that's a case-by-case basis. Again, life is intrinsically valuable. We should try and protect both lives.
you on
Well, it depends what
and
that risk
keep
is.
living her life, even though they're like, you are 100% gonna die, there's like maybe a 1% chance you'll live. You think that they should have to keep living on and then almost 100% die. That's what you just
That
said.
made zero sense. I'm sorry. So we just said it's a 0.00002 or 1, actually in Canada, it's a 0.00001% chance of dying. If you don't want to take that chance, don't have sex.
No, that's not what we're
Can we-
saying.
okay.
What are you making? Your
People
you guys' arguments are flip-flopping.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said, a pregnancy. That is the mortality rate of
person is
pregnancy.
already pregnant. Maybe they wanted
Yes.
to get pregnant.
Okay.
They have a routine pregnancy complication. They
What do you mean-
cannot
what do you
get
mean
an
routine
abortion in the
pregnancy
United States.
complication?
Like a small pregnancy
Like
complication that
ectopic
happens
pregnancy?
often. Sure, whatever.
Well, you have to
Or
list what it
even-
is. Ectopic pregnancies are not considered abortions.
In the United States right now, they are. Women are dying from ectopic pregnancies because
No, there's no place in the U.S. where ectopic pregnancies are not allowed. This is, again, the result of propaganda.
of people like you
Yeah.
who have pushed this.
You gotta let me answer, okay? Even if this did get criminalized, ectopic pregnancies would still be legal because they're not legally considered abortions. And do you know what an ectopic pregnancy is?
I know what a fucking ectopic
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know what it is, and I know for a fact women have died in the United States in the past year because of
let's say
it.
the ectopic pregnancy is in your fallopian tubes.
Yeah.
If that ruptures, that woman has maybe a couple days.
Again, they're not addressing what he's saying. They're using pathos. They're just like, oh, she's gonna die if you don't do it. You want her to explode? You want her to explode, don't you? You're just not addressing the point. Again, these women cannot take their emotions out of it. You have to decouple your emotions from the logic in order to make a decent point here, and they're just lost. That's about all I can handle for this one, but that was a rough one. I really like taking a look at on-campus debates because it really shows the indoctrination that we have in public school campuses. And, I really want to commend this guy for going out there and really going to the wolves on this one. He had the red hair girl at him, and then he had the girl at the end just yelling at him. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. That's something we need to work better on as Christians, is connecting with people this age. So let's continue to do work in that area.